Hey guys, Dean here from fitnessnetworking.com, and today we're going to look at the best place to take tape measurements. These will be the best areas to track over a period of time to really just get a good idea of your progress from where you've come from and where you're going to. And I will also show you which areas of your body will be improving most and where needs a little bit more work to catch up. Alright guys, before we start this one off, you are going to need one thing, and that is a tape measurement. You can pick these ones up nice and cheap. They're only a couple of euro off of Amazon, and you need to make sure that they're nice and loose, that they're free flowing ones and they're not going to be hard and rigid, because you really do need to wrap around the muscle and be smooth with the skin. Also, you might find them just around the house. Some people have them in sewing kits and different things like that. You can also use those ones. Just once it's nice and loose, you can use it, and just make sure you stay consistent with the same tape each time. Alright, as you can see here, I have popped up a little chart up on the screen, and this is just going to give you a breakdown of the best areas to take. I recommend just copy and pasting this into Google Word, or just downloading it, or just printing it off and just having a copy handy. You can see that we have 4 columns laid out, so you can track it. I recommend every 3 months, but if you want to do it monthly, you can add up to 12 columns if you'd like. Alright, so I have a look at the best areas that most people should start off tracking, okay? So we have the arms, both arms here. So with the arm measurement, we are going to take this between the midpoint of the bicep. So make sure you can measure it if you like, or just make sure you have a good idea of where it's at, because you want to stay consistent over time with all of these measurements. So once you take a measurement from a spot, you have to make sure it's in the same spot. A lot of people will misjudge the measurements and the areas that they're placed, or even the type of clothing that they've worn before could also have a factor in the results. So if you wear thicker clothing in the past and you wear thinner clothing now, it will have a slight bit of a difference. So make sure the areas are all the same and you're using the same conditions to make sure the progress and the results are going to be even and there's going to be no mishaps throughout. After you get the arms, we are then on to our chest measurement. Alright, so the chest measurement is a little bit different, and it changes slightly between the male and the female. They usually recommend doing the same, but from my years of experience, I don't usually recommend doing this. So with the chest for a guy, you're going to measure just above the nipple lines. So they bring their hands up out to the side, put it around the top of the nipple line, and bring the arms down by the side, and then relax. Also, another big one is everyone loves to flex or tense the muscles during this one. Just let them relax, nice and easy, deep breath in, and then take that measurement. And when it comes to female, it's gonna be a slight bit different, because when I've been measuring females in the past, you know, you can't really measure a girl's boobs, and they could also be wearing padded sports bras and padded clothing and a few layers as well. So when it comes to females, I usually measure just under the chest line, and which I've found to be better and more consistent over time. But it's up to yourself on that one. You can measure it at the same as the guy, or you can go just below. And if you do decide to measure across the boobs, just make sure that you're not wearing a super padded sports bra or a push-up bra one week and then not wearing one or wearing a lesser bra the next week. Alright, so once you get that chest measurement, we are then on to our thighs. So we want to do both thighs here as well, and you want to do usually around 12 inches up at the knee is what they say, but I usually recommend around the halfway point. You can also go with the thickest part of the leg. Some people like to do that one, but I like to stay consistent and do halfway point. Alright, after we get those legs done, then it is on to the hips. Now, people usually say the hips is the widest point around that area, and I don't really agree with that, because a lot of people get it wrong and they're like, kind of go a little bit too high, a little bit too low, and they are always inconsistent. What I recommend people do is find the top of their hip bone and usually go about 2 inches down. So 1.5 to 2 inches should do it, and then once you have that area, you'll know where it is every single time you go to make that measurement. And it's just an easier way of keeping track of what you're doing. And then the last area is the waist. And they also say that the waist is the thinnest part, which I also don't agree with, because a lot of people mess that part up as well. So when people are going to do this, I usually take the measurement at the top of their belly button, is where I can found to be most consistent, and I recommend you do too. So next time you go to measure your waist, you can go straight to that point. Alright, so download that chart, print it off, check your figures at least every 3 months and let me know how you get on. Do you see much changes in your body? Is one area growing faster than the other? Are your arms growing the same? Are your legs growing the same? Because everyone is different. Even the left side of your body to the right side of your body is also going to be quite different. So you probably will have a few imbalances here or there, but don't worry, you can always work on one area to increase it and improve it up as well. Leave me a comment down below. Was this video helpful? Did you learn much? Are you going to use this technique? Or are you going to stick with the traditional ways? But this is what I've found to be best through my years of personal training and what I usually recommend people do.